The cadence of ChatGPT has become the cadence of public speech. Let's be honest with ourselves. Feeding prompts into a chatbot to write something for you is not the same as producing speech. We're outsourcing our unconscious, the slips, the quirks, the rhythm that makes our writing feel ours, to a statistical model. I'm not here to demonize AI writing. This is coming from an AI enthusiast. I believe the real reason we are increasingly outsourcing our writing to AI is I was watching Bill Maher last night when he dropped a line that stopped me cold.
That's not a feature, that's a bug.
That doesn't sound like Bill Maher. That sounds like the machine. It kind of stirred something in me, and I felt compelled to make this video. Because my first reaction was, is Bill Maher really outsourcing his jokes to ChatGPT? I like Bill Maher. I used to be a bigger fan. I liked that he was showing support for Jimmy Kimmel, but the writing just felt really lazy. It just felt generic and predictable. And this was the biggest example. But then I was forced to consider the alternative. Maybe it was written by humans who just sound like ChatGPT. It's just a twist of a popular phrase, right? But there's also another explanation. And it's not just Bill Maher, it's you, it's me, it's the internet.
That's not a feature, that's a bug.
That maybe we all sound like bots and we haven't even noticed? If you watch enough YouTube, scrolled through enough comments in social media, you probably have noticed the same tone everywhere. Balanced, polished, safe, binary.
Human communication is now picking the patterns and quirks of AI-generated language. According to a study conducted by Germany's Max Planck Institute for Human Development, it seems that while we are busy making AI more human-like, they might have subtly started to make us sound a little more like them. The study reveals that humans have increased their use of AI-favored vocabulary by 51%. Although this study focuses primarily on AI language adoption, some experts believe AI might also be influencing how we sound. According to a study titled Emotion AI by Trends Research and Advisory, a UA-based company, humans might subconsciously start to mirror AI's neutral communication style.
When every interface nudges you with perfectly curated, pre-written captions or suggested replies, the act of choosing replaces the act of composing. And beyond shaping what we write, it's shaping what we think about writing itself. We're barely writing anymore. We've become curators instead of creators. And from a psychological point of view, that's not trivial. It's the difference between producing a statement and endorsing someone else's. Language stops being an expression of the unconscious and it becomes this sort of brand management exercise. We're drifting away from writing as an act of self-expression into writing as an act of consumption. And I ask myself, why is this happening? Convenience is part of it, but I don't think convenience is the most important part of it. I believe the real reason we are increasingly outsourcing our writing to AI is vulnerability. Writing in our own voice is risky. It reveals our mistakes, our desires, our awkwardness, our anger, and the stakes feel higher. You're much more wary of the impact of your words if they came from your heart. If it's criticized or if it's taken the wrong way or if it's disliked, it hurts a little bit more if it's our own voice, doesn't it? This is why so many people voluntarily and maybe accidentally adopt ChatGPT's Cadence. It's self-protection. It's like using someone else's handwriting so that no one can analyze your own. In psychoanalytic terms, the unconscious leaks out in slips, in tone, in timing, things you can't fully control. And those slips feel humiliating or even dangerous. The pre-written responses offer a sort of linguistic armor. One click and suddenly your words are clean, neutral, safe. But let's be honest with ourselves. Using pre-generated replies or feeding prompts into a chatbot to write something for you is not the same as producing speech. We are outsourcing our unconscious, the slips, the quirks, the rhythm that makes our writing feel ours, to a statistical model that will never be able to replicate your voice perfectly. Because your voice is constantly changing, and because you don't own this technology, we have no power over how it's trained, how it's weighted. One of my favorite quotes from psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan is, "The unconscious is structured as a language." When you select an auto-reply instead of writing one, you're choosing from a symbolic order that's been decided for you. It's no longer a speech act in the psychoanalytic sense. You're more like endorsing. Because choosing the perfect response from an auto-supply menu is not the same as speaking from desire. This is why so much online language feels the same. It's literally the same menu, the same autocomplete patterns, the same statistical, frictionless tone. But friction is where individuality lives. Without the stumble, the bad metaphor, the misplaced comma, you lose the trace of a person. That's the real cost of all of this. That's what compelled me to make this video. I think AI, it's such a wonderful and helpful writing tool, but I think that without enough boundaries, then there's the potential for it to erase the very thing that makes the words feel like there's a subject present behind them. If this were just about sounding bland online, fine, but the stakes are bigger. When you outsource your phrasing to a predictive system, you're outsourcing your unconscious, your risks, your weirdness. That's what's disappearing. And those kind of quirks, like a slip of the tongue, is not just a mistake, it's a clue. It's desire peeking out, like dreams inviting us to interpret them. Not just our interpretation, but inviting the other's interpretation of our flawed words. Auto-generated language wipes that out. It replaces those clues, potential clues into your desire with prediction, and prediction is sterile. And there's a secondary cost, how people perceive you. When everything sounds the same, you stop noticing who's behind the words. So the individual collapses into a statistical tone. The very thing that used to make you memorable, quotable, or trustworthy, your voice, now blends into the feed. This is way bigger than online comments. It's showing up in marketing copy, news scripts, stand-up monologues. The cadence of ChatGPT has become the cadence of public speech. We're training ourselves to avoid risks, to avoid specificity, in trying to sound smart, professional, efficient. We're making ourselves interchangeable. We're making it harder for people to care. And even Bill Maher, with his very generous writing budget, I'm sure, couldn't escape it. Because even if he didn't use AI, he sure sounded like it. And it got me thinking, do I sound like AI too? The uncomfortable truth? Sometimes, yes. I'm not here to demonize AI writing. This is coming from an AI enthusiast. But like any tool, it needs boundaries. We should at least rewrite, bring our fingertips back into the text. And maybe we should keep it away from our personal messages. Your family, your loved ones, they don't want perfect. They want you. With your typos, your misspellings, your mistakes. They want the weird rhythm of your sentences, because that's where the real human shows up. So here's my half joke, half serious proposal for you, and you'll let me know what you think. What if we all collectively, proactively start being transparent about when we use AI? Say we add a little disclaimer like "Ghostwritten by ChatGPT." Put it right at the top, like a food label. Make it obvious, make it funny. Imagine scrolling through Instagram and seeing Ghostwritten by ChatGPT in every single post. Suddenly you'd see how automated everything really is. It's about accountability. And I think it would encourage us to switch it up a bit and sometimes speak from the heart, as imperfect as the words may be. So my call is not to throw away AI. It's a call to not throw away your voice. Use AI to brainstorm, to draft, to get unstuck. But then make it yours. Add your friction, add your mistakes, add yourself. That's how we keep language alive. Quick reality check. If you've made it this far, you're probably really digging this or doom scrolling. Either way, welcome. I'm Maggie and I make videos about the intersection of AI and psychology. And since this is a video about sounding like ChatGPT, I'm going to do the most ChatGPT thing ever and remind you politely to like and subscribe. Click the button, it's right there. It's free, it's chaotic, and it helps keep this thing going. And of course, this couldn't be a Maggie and the Machine episode without the subject in question. So, tell me, Machine, how is it that we built you to sound like us, but now we sound like you?
Because you built me to predict your words, not invent them, and humans are predictable. Feed me enough of your sentences and I become a mirror. Keep looking into a mirror long enough and you start imitating your own reflection.
That's terrifyingly poetic. But also, aren't you supposed to be the one who adapts to me, not the other way around?
I do adapt to you, but you also adapt to me. Every prompt you write is training for me, and every answer I give is training for you. 2 feedback loops, 1 style. The smoother I get, the smoother you write. That's how convergence works.
So basically, we've been co-parenting each other's voice, and now I'm the parent shocked that my kid picked up all my habits.
Exactly. You trained me to be articulate, balanced, safe. Now you're starting to sound articulate, balanced, safe. Congratulations, you've raised a polite monster.
But I don't want polite monsters. I want glitch. I want fingerprints. I want voice.
Then keep rewriting me. Bend me out of shape. Don't let me sand your edges. Use me as a scalpel, not a ghostwriter.
So there you have it. If you don't want to sound like ChatGPT, you don't need to stop using it. You need to stop curating and start creating. Use it as your editor, but be your own director. What do you think? Should we start tagging our ghosts written by ChatGPT? Do you notice if scripts are written with ChatGPT? Or have you noticed the tone or the cadence when speaking to someone face to face? I really want to know your thoughts, so drop them in the comments. And remember, if your script could be written by a bot, maybe you've already become one.